Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now while everyone's talking about the internet outage that happened yesterday, etc., we have a national emergency happening as I speak, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it once in the last several days. Now maybe someone else out there has, I just haven't heard anyone talk about it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I want to remind you of one thing.
Tonight, we are learning new details about last year's massive derailment of a train car in East Palestine, Ohio. The train was carrying hazardous materials at the time. And tonight, the NTSB says a hot rail car wheel bearing sparked a fire. Video showing the glow on the track some 20 miles away from the scene. Investigators say the crash could have been avoided. Now, inspections after the derailment revealed that 25% of the train cars had defective conditions.
Remember what happened in East Palestine in Ohio? If you listen to that clip, you'll have noticed that they said that they knew about these problems prior to that train taking off, but they did nothing about it. And in my opinion, what I'm going to talk about today is something that you can do something about 100% in order to protect yourself and your family. We all know what the basics of preparedness is. We need food, we need water, we need medicine, we need energy, right? Those things that allow us to maintain life. And before I continue, I want to tell you that this video is not sponsored. I'm not making a penny off of what I'm going to promote on this video because it's not about money for me. And for those of you that are in hard times and cannot afford to maybe get upper level preparedness items, things that cost, let's say like $100 or more, stand by, because I was able to work something out with one of my affiliates to take care of you all, because it's very important to me that those of you that want to be prepared can be prepared.
Environmental Protection Agency is moving to roll back limits on toxic forever chemicals, rules that were just finalized last year. Joining me now, Emily Donovan, co-founder of Clean Cape Fear, a group on the front lines of this fight. Emily, remind us of what these chemicals are.
Yeah, so they're called PFAS, PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, but we also refer to them as forever chemicals because they tend to live forever and there's no proven safe disposal method. We've learned that they are harmful even in small amounts, and they showed up in our tap water in extreme amounts, and they're also showing up all across the United States in everyone's drinking water. And various levels. And so we've been fighting for 8 years to try and get drinking water standards to just protect us at the tap water level.
So, doctor, how common are these chemicals?
Testing by the Environmental Working Group and other groups has found that over 2,700 water systems across the U.S. are contaminated with PFAS, these forever chemicals. And it's not just in our drinking water, by the way, it's also in the soil. They found it in rainwater, and it's estimated that some 30,000 industrial polluters are putting out PFAS chemicals into the environment in this country.
So how do they plan to weaken the limits? And a better question, it's been on the books for so long, why now?
Well, we, CBS News, reached out to the EPA for comment. They have not gotten back to us yet.
So what type of impact is this going to have on our drinking water here in the U.S.?
Well, communities that are going to be impacted most are those living near military bases and manufacturing plants, particularly in lower income or rural areas. Those are the communities.
Why?
Well, those are the communities where we have found the highest level of PFAS, and again, that's related to the manufacturing and what you have on military bases.
So is it tap water that's of greatest concern, or is it also well water? Like my mom lives in an area with a well.
Yeah, so it could also be contaminated if you have well water. So you can have your well water tested and see if that's an issue for you.
Bottled water?
There are other concerns with bottled water,
Yeah,
right? The microplastics, right?
I was going to say, there's always something.
There's always something.
So if you want to limit your exposure, what should you do?
Well, in addition to having your well water tested, if that's what you have, you can call up your local water utility, see if they're testing, see what they're finding. If you can afford it, you can get a reverse osmosis filter system installed in your home. Well, most of us cannot afford to do that, so what else can you do?
I hope you listened to that clip very carefully, Because just like I'm telling you, they're telling you, the expert is telling you that the best way for you to prepare yourselves is to have a reverse osmosis water filtration system that would clean your water. You heard it yourself. She said you cannot even trust your well water. Don't trust any water that you consume that you yourself could not check to make sure that it was clean, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to do that is to make sure that it is clean yourself. Because just like they knew about that train and its mechanical problems before it left the rail yard, the government knows right now, and they are deciding to do not only nothing about it, but to roll back regulations that ensure that the water that comes out of your tap is clean. And that's what I want to talk about, because without water, there is no life. You can live a month, 2, 3, heck, I could probably live 6 months without eating. However, how long can you live without water? And how long can you live with water, but water that's contaminated? You may be able to live several more years, but at what cost to your health and the health of the ones that you love? Again, I'm talking about this because I am passionate about people that want to be prepared, but in the right way. Don't spend all your money on gold or silver or just food or just gas. Make sure that you spread it around evenly so that you can be covered in all of those things that matter. This is, in my opinion, a national emergency when more than half of the people in these United States of America have contaminated water with poisons that stay in their bodies pretty much forever coming out of their faucets. And those people that we put in place in order to protect us from these things are ignoring it. We have a big problem. With the EPA delaying new federal PFAS regulations, many states are creating their own rules to curb contamination of soil, water, and public health. And this is why if you have a well, if you get well water, you still have to check it. You still have to get something to ensure that that water is clean. PFAS is used in cookware, firefighting foam, stain-proof fabrics, and other products, persist in the environment and have been linked to cancer, hormonal disruption, immune issues, and reproductive harm. And we wonder why it is that America is so sick. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that in order for us to live in the world that we live in today, we have to have these hazards, all right? Freedom is not free. Freedom is actually dangerous. However, if you know about it, and I'm talking about the government here, if you know about it, then do something that if it's not going to take these chemicals out of the water, to ensure that the water that the people are drinking is going to be clean. You know, the government's giving away billions and billions of dollars in aid to these other countries and to these subsidies, etc., etc. But what they're not doing is they're not doing it for the American people. All right. Have you heard what's going on with farmers and with ranchers and how now we are going to go ahead and start buying beef from outside of our borders when we have beef ranchers here that have been begging for help so that we can keep our own beef here in the United States going for years? But instead, we decide to bail out other countries so that they can sell us their beef, making our beef prices go down, but forsaking those people that actually helped to build the country and the industry. But I digress. Without unified federal standards, critics warn that patchwork state policies leave gaps and that pending proposals such as blocking the EPA from acting on its own PFAS sludge assessments could worsen enforcement and oversight. Meaning what? Meaning that they're not going to have oversight or sufficient oversight over the water that you consume and your family consumes in order to make sure that you're not getting something that's going to linger around in your body until one day there's enough of it to give you cancer or some kind of a disease that maybe they don't even know about yet. At issue are PFAS, PFAS are a group of more than 14,000 chemicals that have been used in stain and water repellent fabrics, etc., since the 1940s. However, they do not degrade naturally and are almost impossible to destroy, earning them the forever chemical name. According to the EPA, PFAS have been linked to cancer, reproductive issues, immune disorders, reduced vaccine response, hormonal issues, and weight gain. Maybe now I'm starting to believe those people that say, man, I just can't lose any weight. And I'm trying not to make this video very long, so I'm going to get to the point. The point is this. If you don't take care of having food in your house and the supermarkets close, who's that on? That's on you. If you don't take care of keeping up with your health, like me for so many years, and then you have an episode where your health is now at risk because you just haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing for the last several years, who's that on? That's on you. Me in this case, right? If you don't take care of making sure that the water that you're consuming is potable to the standard that you're not consuming forever chemicals and whatever other hazards may be floating in that water, that's on you, ladies and gentlemen. It is now on you. We no longer live in a world or a country where we can just take the word of our representatives and or those that do the work that support our everyday lifestyle. I'm not blaming the working man. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but their hands are tied behind their back. They can only do what they can do. And I truly do appreciate every person that works in a water utility, making sure that that water is at least as potable as they can possibly make it. So thank you very much, sir and ma'am, but I'm going to go ahead and take the last step on my own. And that's where I want to tell you about SIMPURE's deal that I worked out with them. And I'm going to reiterate this again to you all. I am not sponsored by SIMPURE on this video or for this campaign that I've asked them to do for you guys, because it is so important to me that as many people as possible are, number one, educated that they need to take care of their own water, even if it's coming from a faucet, and that they can afford to get one. SIMPURE went ahead and allowed me to pick my very favorite under the sink reverse osmosis system. And to me, that is the Q3 600. The reason why is because it's very, very simple to install. Under my sink, there's a pretty good amount of space actually here in my new apartment. However, it doesn't take a lot of space in order for you to install this system. It doesn't have one of those bulky tanks. And the price, ladies and gentlemen, that I was able to negotiate with them is incredible. And let me tell you what, for every 10 people that buy any kind of RO system in SIMPURE's lineup, we are going to get one free Q3 to give away to one of you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, I gave up my commission. My commission with SIMPURE is not that much. Maybe depending on what someone buys, I may make like between $8 and $12 per unit. It's not that much, but that's not the case. I told SIMPURE I will give up my commission until the 5th of November, giving us about 2 weeks so that you can plan to get one if you don't have one, or so that you can get one right away and be one of those people that contributes to one person getting one for free for every 10 that is sold. And this is not a review video, but I do have a review video on the Q3 that I did a long time ago. I'll try to find that and leave it linked on the upper right hand corner of this video so you can easily see the review video. However, even without my review video, installing this system is extremely easy. This is the only part of the system where you really need to do any plumbing whatsoever. And I don't even know if you can call it plumbing, because it's just literally turning off your feed valve, disconnecting the water line that goes to your faucet, and then installing a small splitter that allows you to feed water back to your faucet, but also to the RO system. It's as simple as that. So no one can say that they can't do it. Now, SIMPURE is not made in the United States, and I can understand where that may be a point of friction or contention for some of you. So what I've always done in my videos is I've always left a link to a US-based that they say that they're made in the US, a link for that. So if you want to go check them out as well, check them out and compare them to what SIMPURE offers. The reason I choose SIMPURE is for two main reasons. Number one, because their product works. Okay, I know it does because I've been using it for years. And number two is because their prices are affordable for the everyday person. And these prices are even more affordable, but the Q3, my favorite, is the one that I insisted that they give the most rock bottom price that they can possibly give, because I am more concerned about people being able to afford this and get it installed more so than making a penny or a buck off each unit. This sale is going to go through the 5th of November. I figured that 2 weeks would be long enough in order for you to be able to acquire one if you're getting one, and to give me enough time to where I hope that enough people buy them that we can give away several. I will keep you updated as far as when I will announce the winners of the systems, and remember that if you do leave a comment, you are automatically entered to win. However, you do have to live within the United States of America. Even if you live in Alaska and even if you live in Hawaii, you can still enter. And I just want to say, I hope that those people that win are people that really need one. And if you do win and you don't really need one, then pass it on to someone that you know that does. Other than that, thank you very much, SIMPURE. I really appreciate you doing this for the Alaska Prepper community. And by the way, it has to be my links, ladies and gentlemen, because this is only for the Alaska Prepper community. So share this video. Share it with people that you love, that you know need to have one of these reverse osmosis water filtration systems. They can come along, watch the video, leave a comment as well, and they can be entered to win also. I hope that you all take advantage of this. God bless every one of you. I love you all. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.